In Make Me a Baby, 100 British couples are trying, and some succeeding, to make a baby over an entire year.
Forget careers, forget everything else. The one thing that you can do with your life that is truly amazing is have a child.
4 months ago, our potential parents got together for the biggest mass pregnancy test ever held. 12 were pregnant.
I don't have sex anymore.
Now a further 34 are well on their way to parenthood.
I love the fact I can feel the baby kicking. I think that's brilliant. It's amazing.
And cameras are there with them from day one to delivery.
That's weird.
So we'll get her wrapped up. That's great. There we go.
But over half are still trying to conceive, and we'll be following them too.
What do you visualise after
Well, you're
sex?
supposed to envisage your womb as a warm and welcoming place.
On hand to ease their journeys are 3 of the country's most respected fertility, conception and pregnancy experts. All this and more on Make Me a Baby. Across our 100 couples, we've chosen stories showing the road to conception and the different stages of pregnancy, right from the very start.
I'm pregnant. How long with you?
Oh, that's wicked.
I'm Dr. Simon Atkins. I've been a GP now for 9 years, and I've seen hundreds of women through each stage of pregnancy. The first trimester deals with baby's early growth and development, the second with the middle 13 weeks, and the third trimester is the final home run to birth. Many of our pregnant couples are now well into the middle 13 weeks, or second trimester, and having a baby is an ever-growing reality.
Second trimester pregnancy, much better than the first. I don't look like a ghost.
I had all my energy back, my tiredness had gone, I didn't feel sick anymore, I just felt completely normal.
Fatter, getting fatter, but in denial about it. Less morning sickness, got glossier hair.
Pregnancy hormones have settled down when it comes to the second trimester. Women are starting to feel a bit more confident about their pregnancy, and they usually feel much better. They're over the sickness that they're feeling, and they start to feel a bit of a new lease.
But it's not like this every second trimester. For Jane and Simon in Derby, things have been stressful from the start. Simon's been renovating the family home for 6 months. Jane was sleeping on a mattress in the living room while Simon was in the drafty bedroom upstairs. A disaster for their love life and baby-making potential.
We'll give it a quick bash on the old blow-up bed before Simon goes upstairs.
We sent in fertility and conception expert Dr. Cecilia Piper to find out why they weren't getting pregnant, and what she found was a couple in chaos.
Oh my gosh, there's stuff coming through the roof.
Put it this way, if we were testing my stress levels right now, I think they'd be through the roof that I haven't even got.
While she was there, Cecilia convinced Jane and Simon to do a pregnancy test.
Easy across.
Oh, Jane,
I've
please.
looked at them that many times, I don't know.
That is definite. You cracked it.
Oh, it's that blow-up bed.
Now 4 months on, not much has changed, including Simon.
Unfortunately, Simon hasn't been the most attentive husband in the world, but I can't really blame him because I have put pressure on for getting this house extension finished. But he's probably been least attentive of all the pregnancies of my other 2 previous ones.
Simon's a builder by trade, and for him, work comes first before finishing their house, and it's doing Jane's head in.
Because she's been so rational and emotional, but I suppose it's understandable because of all the hormones and all that kind of thing, but it's difficult for me because I'm not there all day. I'm at work, and then I get home and get a barrage of abuse.
Instead of stress of trying to get pregnant, I've got the stress of making sure everything is as good as it can be, making sure that I'm relaxed as possible, which is very difficult considering my house is a bomb site, I can't live in it. I think stress isn't always a bad thing, but it just depends on the limits of it. And I'd really like to limit mine.
I think for any mum, it's really important that they shouldn't be stressed during their pregnancy. Stress, if it's there all the time, is an exhausting thing. It's going to affect what's going on in your life. It's going to make you feel a bit more irritable. It's going to affect your sleeping patterns. It might affect your eating patterns and your relationship.
Today at Derby Hospital, Simon's making an effort to support Jane. It's her 20-week scan and a crucial chance to see how baby is developing.
There's an arm, hand,
This is the other arm and hand up there. It's amazing.
This scan shows the baby as it moves in mum's womb. 18 to 22 weeks is the best time to see how organs are developing and to check for possible birth defects. Jane's 37. She's worried her age may harm the baby's growth, but it looks like everything is as it should be.
I'm really relieved now I know everything's okay. I was getting a bit worried about
Jane's
that.
a bit of a panic. I knew it would be alright anyway.
Well, you keep going on about how old I am.
20 weeks is a great time to find out the baby's sex. Jane and Simon don't want an absolute answer, but can't help searching for clues.
Do you think that they lay differently if they're a boy or a girl, or is it a complete fallacy? You just carry a baby how you carry a baby and that's all there is to it?
Yes. If you had heartburn, it was a girl.
I've heard about the pendulum. I know some people either do it over your head or some people do it over your stomach.
If it does it this way, then it's a boy, and if it does it that way, it's a girl.
If it's a little girl, it will take all the mum's looks away.
If your sex drive increases during pregnancy, it's meant to indicate you're having a boy.
Very often women will say to me, oh, the heart rate is racing, it must be a girl, or it's slower for a boy. But there's only one way to find out, and that's by the scan or by delivery.
When our 100 couples did their mass pregnancy test, Paula and Gary from Essex were amongst the first 12 to get pregnant.
Oh my God!
I don't have to have sex anymore.
Well done. Mum.
Now well into her second trimester and 26 weeks gone, and Paula's definitely not glowing.
Oh, my skin is horrendous. I've got peeling eczema up my arms and acne on my face.
Paula's skin's not the only problem. Weight's been an issue since the pregnancy began, which can cause serious problems in late second trimester.
Due to the fact that I had a bit of a weight problem, my engagement ring actually stands for fat cow.
The couple may have packed in the fags and are working out at the gym, but Paula's pre-pregnancy diet hasn't changed and the fat's piling on. So Pregnancy Supremo Zita West, fertility, diet and nutrition advisor to the stars, is swooping in, and it's just in the nick of time. Zita mixes traditional and alternative medicines to help women enjoy a healthier pregnancy, which is good news for Paula.
I've had eczema, I've had psoriasis, heartburn horrendous.
Oh, no.
I can't breathe at night. I've had infections in places where infections shouldn't be.
Yeah.
To top it off today, I've got piles.
Some of the symptoms that you're suffering from is a mixture of weight and diet and nutrition, and we need to look at that. Does your weight bother you?
Definitely, yeah.
In what way?
Yeah, I'm bothered by the fact that I'm putting a lot of weight on, but as long as the baby's healthy at the end of it, I can put all my effort into losing it after.
And it's great that you're going to the gym, 3 times a week, but I need to sort of look at what you're eating and just see how I can help you. Let's go and have a quick look.
Okay.
Zita wants to give Paula healthy alternatives to battle that weight.
Things like this, Paula, not good.
Yeah, well, I've got to have something in that my son likes to eat. He's nearly 12 and he's a growing lad.
I was just looking here at the margarine as well. People think that, this is better for them than butter. When people are trying to lose weight, they go for low fat, they go for diet, they go for all of those products, but they contain chemicals and preservatives that aren't good. So who's the cheese and breadsticks?
I bought them for my little boy. I don't think he's very keen on them, so I ended up eating most of those. I do eat these.
Terrible. Terrible. I mean, how many calories are in here?
Oh, there's only about 50 calories
I
per
know,
biscuit.
50 calories per biscuit, but this is just such junk. It'd be better off having a nice piece of chocolate. I think, Paula, is typical of many women that they read labels or they go into supermarket aisles and they see fat-free, they see sugar-free, and they think that's great, that's 98% fat-free, but they don't look at the sugar content. Are you concerned about Paula's weight?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
So you try.
I think you're more concerned because it makes me miserable.
It does make it miserable.
I'd piled on 6 stone since I met you.
Yeah.
My willpower is not great, and if I've got a choice between laying on the sofa and doing nothing or going for a run around the street, I'm going to lay on the sofa and watch telly.
Right. I mean, there's probably about 50 quid's worth of chocolate in here.
There's not quite that much. Don't exaggerate there. I was starting to really like her till she said that.
Obesity is on the increase in the UK, and for pregnant women that can cause particular problems, such as diabetes and high blood pressure. It also gives an increased risk of first trimester miscarriage. For women like Paula coming to the end of their second trimester, a weight gain of around £15 would be about right. Any more than that, and it'd be a good idea to get some medical advice. Thanks to Make Me a Baby, 3 couples from Derby have become firm friends. They met when the 100 couples got together, becoming a unique support system while trying to strike it lucky on the conception front.
I think we've got a really solid foundation between the 6 of us, and I think we'll all keep in touch, we'll all be there for one another, you know, good times and bad.
That's the funny thing, we've actually had more sex when we've not been looking at what day it is than when we were looking at what, because I mean I'd look and think, God, we've got to have sex 12 times this month.
I never ever wanted children. Always said, definitely not, no chance, not going to happen. And then about 6 months ago, something in my head just went.
Today the lads are down the pub while the girls go shopping. Kate is expecting and Anita's found out she's having twins, but Joanne's been trying for 2 years, which makes things really hard for her.
See, this is no good for our nursery though, because our nursery's going to be orange and yellow. It's certainly no good if we have a boy.
Anita and Kate are looking for that certain something for baby. But what Joanne wants can't be bought.
I just want to be pregnant, and I could have like twin boys.
Yeah.
Triplet boys even.
Oh,
I wouldn't care.
Last year, Joanne miscarried. It's been difficult for her and husband Stuart ever since.
It doesn't feel like you've just not got pregnant. It feels like you're a failure, complete failure.
10-year-old Joseph is struggling too.
I was quite looking forward to having a brother or sister. Every time I talk about it, it makes me quite upset inside.
But the heartache of miscarriage can be overwhelming. So when Anita and Paul and Kate and Pete found out they were pregnant, it was a real blow for Joanne.
It could have been me. I could have been 4 weeks off giving birth now, which is just what makes it that little bit harder.
So it did it hard, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kate and Anita are concerned for Joanne.
I don't want people to either pretend or just tiptoe around all the time, because at the end of the day, when you're pregnant, you should be over the moon and you should be shouting it from the rooftops. But, you know, the bit that does get me is when I'm looking at like the nursery stuff.
So I think it brings it home really for you, doesn't it? That
it's just
a bit much.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only do my best, which I try to do. And
yeah.
Make you try and enjoy it, but it is difficult, it's really difficult.
Joe, you've got to hurry up and get pregnant. Yeah. Because I can't do this on my own.
Yeah, I've told you, Stuart thinks this is lucky month.
well, hopefully, like I say, we'll start
he keeps telling me. This is lucky month.
When women have more than one miscarriage, what we do know is that they're more likely to have further miscarriages compared to women who've never had a miscarriage. But what they also need to be told is that the majority of them are going to go on and successfully have a healthy pregnancy.
Just a few miles away, Jane and Simon are waiting for some important news. 7 weeks ago, Jane had the triple test, a blood test given at the start of the second trimester to test for abnormalities. Today, she's getting the results.
No major health issues past or present?
No.
No major family history lurking in the background?
No.
The triple test is a blood test that women have when they're about 16 weeks pregnant, and it calculates a risk of her likelihood of having a Down's syndrome baby and also her likelihood of having a baby with spina bifida.
They've had a look at all the major structures of baby and everything appears normal. We've got the results to Down's and spina bifida blood test, and that's come back as low risk for both Down's and spina bifida. Okay, it's not a no risk. We can't give you no risk for this blood test, but we can say low risk. Combine that with this normal appearing scan, the two together are very reassuring, and we wouldn't normally offer any further testing.
Right.
Is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I wanted
so
to know.
both those results have come back as good as they can get, really.
It was a real relief to be able to compare the low risk of the blood test with the low risk of the scan, but at least it gives you as much as you can, as sure a guarantee as they can give you, that everything's going to be okay. I don't think men realise how much goes on in your head when you're worrying about the baby. I mean, Simon is a classic example. He can't understand anybody who worries. He can't see a reason why you would be worried. But I think it's only natural that that's how you feel. It's that nurturing instinct already when it's still in your tummy.
200 miles away in Sunderland, Lindsay, Kevin and daughter Lucy were completely surprised when they found out there are 2 babies in Mum's tummy.
And she said, I'm having twins. I said, I don't believe you. She said, I am, I'm having twins. And I nearly dropped the phone, to be honest.
With toddler Lucy, the couple will now have 3 children under 2.5 to look after. The birth of Lucy was a traumatic event for Lindsay.
During my labour last time round, I was actually told I was quite lucky to survive the childbirth that I went through. So I thought, is it selfish of me to want another baby? What happens if something does go wrong and I leave Lucy and Kevin behind?
If you have a careful look there, can you see them? One on the left side.
Yep.
Heart beating away. It certainly looks as if there's just one afterbirth. If that's correct, then these twins are identical.
And there are problems with this pregnancy too. At 20 weeks, the twins were diagnosed high risk, meaning one twin could grow much less than the other.
And there we can see the heartbeat clearly.
8 weeks later, more concerns. One of the twins was, as first thought, smaller than the other, and more worryingly, had developed cysts on its kidneys.
This is the right kidney. This right kidney, I think, has a few little cysts on it.
Right.
Okay. It's just something we need to keep an eye on. It's not something we'd get really, really worried about.
I've been trying to put the birth to the back of my mind, to be honest with you, because if I think about it too much, it does start to upset us. And I just know that with twins, it's going to be a little bit riskier. And I just think if I couldn't manage to give birth naturally with Lucy without any complications, I don't have much choice. I don't have much chance this time.
During our mass pregnancy test, Lindsay and Kevin were one of the first 12 couples to find out they were pregnant. In fact, at the time of the test, Lindsay was already 6 weeks gone. So Lindsay is now at 33 weeks, well into her 3rd trimester. Doctors have told her she needs a caesarean section, as the smaller baby's lack of growth means it needs all the help it can get on delivery day.
Identical twin pregnancies are a higher risk twin pregnancy, and one of the things they're perhaps a little more prone to is what we call discrepant growth, meaning one baby grows significantly smaller than the other. But I think in this case, with them being identical and with a significant growth discrepancy, probably felt it was safer for them to be delivered by caesarean section.
Any risks in pregnancy are frightening, so considering what Lindsay's been through with her previous birth, it's important she doesn't feel panicked during delivery. How does it feel to be back?
It's a little bit strange, to be honest with you. Although I was here, I think it was nearly just over 2 weeks ago, being monitored, so I have been back since I had my first one.
I mean, your pregnancy with her wasn't all fun and games either, was it really?
No, not really. I don't seem to do the pregnancy thing very well.
Lucy's birth was quite difficult. I'm quite proud of myself the way I held things up, but I had to be honest, because it was quite a difficult situation.
She was born with forceps in the end. The placenta came away in pieces. I had a hemorrhage as well.
She passed out, therefore she needed a blood transfusion.
I had a high temperature during delivery as well, but it made me hallucinate, so a lot of it was quite scary for me, because I could see my mum, who passed away sort of 5 years ago, was standing next to us. Gosh. And I thought I'd died, and it was really strange. It was like a lot of things going on in my head.
Did it worry you what happened last time? Has it made you a bit fearful about this occasion, particularly as you're expecting twins now?
After I've gone through that,
yes,
things couldn't really get much worse.
With a traumatic first birth like Lindsay's, the thought of a caesarean section can be nightmarish. So familiarising her with the operating theatre will make Lindsay feel more confident.
There was one thing I wanted to ask actually. How long does it take roughly to deliver the babies?
When you've got twins, you're looking at a ballpark figure at least about 45 minutes. So It's not a quick procedure, but then again, it's not like one of those operations that last 5 or 6 hours.
Right.
I think the worst bit is for you, babies are out, then that's that. You can hear the babies crying, you know everything's okay, you can relax and let the doctors do their bit, and I imagine the rest of it will fly for you.
I would like to go another few weeks, but yeah, I'm ready for them to come out, to be honest with you. I am ready to see them rather than carry them around.
It's not just on the run-up to birth that most women need reassurance, it's throughout their pregnancies. Usually, mums-to-be feel baby kicking inside for the first time at around 18 weeks, and if it's not happened by 22 weeks, it's worth letting the doctor know. For many women, feeling these first kicks inside is extremely reassuring.
I just had this thump, and it absolutely sent shockwaves through my body.
It feels like little flutters in your tummy, like wind bubbles or something.
sort of felt like your tummy had gone over, though you were on a roller coaster, sort of that kind of, ooh.
It's really reassuring every time you get a kick. It's a bit like a footballer's kick.
It makes you feel so much more happy and confident about the whole pregnancy, and it's reassuring every single time you feel that movement.
Jane's husband Simon has been renovating their home and it's been stressing her out. But now baby started kicking, she's feeling more secure. So it's time to tell daughters Eloise and Zara their good news.
Now we've got something to show you, and you've got to see if you can guess what it is. What do you think that is, Eloise?
A baby.
It is. Whose baby do you think it is?
Yours.
It is!
It's a baby in Mum's
Do you know
tummy.
where it is right now?
In your tummy.
Yeah. Are you very excited?
Yeah. Is it really in your tummy?
Yeah.
Here's a big one. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Glasgow twosome Patsy and Michael are amongst the 54 couples out of our 100 still trying to get pregnant. And it's been a strain from the start.
Sometimes wish it wasn't so pressured. I sometimes wish it could, that you could get pregnant at any time of the month.
6 months on from the studio, they hit rock bottom, going from this...
But the fun's in the trying, isn't it, darling?
Practice makes perfect. Yeah, definitely.
to this.
It's just a stress on the relationship, and what we need is, well, what I need is a plan, so I don't feel as lost, because sometimes I do, babe, sometimes I'm like, what can I do here, or how can I fix this?
So we sent them to pregnancy and fertility expert Zita West for a whole new approach.
I look like a Dalek.
Zita found the couple needed to take a serious look at their lifestyle, particularly Michael.
So no breakfast, coffee and a fag, followed by a bar of chocolate, followed by nothing.
But my body does feel like an old engine, you know, and I'm only 33, so
I know, but the way you build up your reserves as well, Mike, is sleeping, you know, sort of eating well, you know, you're running on empty. Smoking's the other thing. I mean, smoking really does damage sperm. So, you know, how many are you smoking a day?
Between 15 and 20 a day.
Hell of a lot. Yeah, and I just think you've got such potential to feel so much better, to feel healthier, to feel great.
Now the couple have refound their focus.
We've made a lot more effort to start going out on dates and stuff like that, and going out to the pictures, going out for dinner, not just getting home from work, sitting down and just, oh, ovulation day, come on, which doesn't exactly make for a lot of fun. Yeah, we have had a lot more fun since we've come back up, because we've taken the pressure off ourselves.
Sex has become a lot more naughty. We're not swinging for the chandeliers or nothing like that, but we try to sit on top of the lamp now and again, but yeah, that's it.
This whole trying to have a baby has made me realise that it's not as simple as I thought it was, and it's put a lot of questions in my head about how long I've waited to do this and blah, blah, blah. But having seen Zita and stuff, she's made a big difference to my fears and stuff like that, whereas Michael's taken a totally different approach to his food. Michael would never have looked at anything like that. It was just, food is just something you do when you're hungry. So he's taken a different approach to his health, and I think in both of us doing that, because we've learned a lot, it's not something, knowledge either of us came in with, so we can talk about it a lot more, and it's of interest to both of us, where it's not me going, well, I know this and you know this, and so it's brought us closer together that way.
But now it's been over a year since they began trying for a baby, so they're both going for further tests to see if they need fertility treatment.
So we're kind of on the edge of something. The rest of it's been sitting around waiting really and trying, which has been more difficult than anything else. And I think now we've had some help from Zita, and we're going to get some help, obviously, through our doctor and stuff. It's the start of it. We'll see where we go from here.
But they're not giving up trying to conceive naturally and have a plan of attack thanks to Zita.
You're supposed to visualise, like, after you have sex, that you're all what's going on inside your body, and to make space in your life for a baby, mentally and physically.
Yeah, so from going to having sex, getting it over and done with within 5 minutes, lying back with a cigarette, you have sex, make it last, lie back, and then visualise. What do you visualise after sex?
You're supposed to envisage your womb as a warm and welcoming place. Zita told me to envisage it as a really beautiful bedroom that you'd want to sleep in.
But it is. You really have got a very beautiful bedroom that I want to sleep in.
try candles in the bathroom and put on nice music. But for me, always, if you have a nice meal and you just have that little bit of quality time together, it just sets the tone.
Try and forget that you're making a baby while you're doing it.
It's so difficult because it becomes a routine and you start getting really stressed.
Go out, buy some sexy underwear, do whatever you like, but, you know, keep it really relaxed.
But it's not just about keeping sex sexy. According to national statistics, 1 out of every 6 couples will need assistance with fertility. Most conceive within a year, and if not, it's best to get further tests. Sam and Chris from Portsmouth may be one of these couples. They are amongst the 88 couples who weren't pregnant in our studio, and they still haven't conceived.
Every time we do a pregnancy test and it's negative, it sort of knocks us off our feet for a couple of days, doesn't it?
14 years ago, Chris had a vasectomy, and it was reversed when he and Sam decided to have a baby together. Ever since, Chris has been checking his sperm to make sure it's good enough to do the business.
It's just absolutely teeming with life.
Now he's not so sure, as they've been trying for over a year. Chris thinks his vasectomy reversal hasn't worked, and the couple have been looking into getting it redone. Today, Dr. Alan Pacey, a male fertility and sperm expert, will help Sam and Chris figure out their best options.
Hello.
Hello, Alan, how are you?
Nice to see you again.
And you do come in. I have actually got a sample here that's now about 40 minutes old.
Really? You've produced a sample
today,
this morning?
Yes.
I'm honoured.
Sam and Chris may be old hands at DIY sperm testing, but they really need a thumbs up from the expert.
How about the variation that you see between samples when you look at it?
It started off really good, and then it got better and better, and then all of a sudden it took a dive and went very low, and now it's coming back up again.
Okay, well there's some quite nice swimming sperm there. The way we describe a sperm swimming well, if it's moving more than 5 times the length of its own head in a second, it's a good one.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Well, there's plenty of good ones in there then.
So there's plenty of good ones in there. I mean, I think we've got here today evidence that your vasectomy reversal has worked. And I think I would be worried about having further surgery, potentially undoing the good that's obviously been done. There's the possibility that more scar tissue could form. And of course, it's a lot of money that maybe you could put to better use by moving to the next level of having some fertility treatment using the sperm that you're ejaculating today.
What do you think the next level is for us?
Well, I guess you've got a number of options. Given that we think that everything's all right with you, there really isn't anything more sophisticated initially than I think something like intrauterine insemination. Just a very simple procedure, IUI. I think as a first step, given that this is a reasonable sample, it may not need anything more than that. They've been trying for a year, it hasn't happened yet, maybe it's just around the corner, but I think somebody needs to sit down with their test results, both on Chris's side and Sam's side, and to actually look at all that data and advise them whether or not IUI or IVF is the next step.
That was brilliant. He answered everything we needed to know, and we're definitely going to go for IUI now and not straight to IVF.
In Essex, Zita West is taking Paula and Gary shopping. Zita's blitzed their cupboards. Now it's time for a diet overhaul.
It's pointless just buying food that you don't like. You've got to have something that you enjoy.
It's critical Paula transforms her eating habits, or she could risk gestational diabetes.
What happens when you get gestational diabetes, your body's not be able to produce insulin. You need insulin to be able to break down glucose for energy. And if you don't, the blood sugar rises and passes through to the baby.
It's portions. I mean, your stomach's the size of your fist.
If it's there, I will eat it. That's my downfall. If food is there,
so you need it smaller, yeah?
As long as they're seedless.
Yeah.
I could easily eat a bag of them. I could eat all them.
Oh, I wouldn't eat as much as you, but I'd eat probably about a third of a bag.
4 of those.
Right?
Yeah?
Yep. We're going to have to. Yeah.
Baby's brain is really developing now, and so essential fatty acids are very, very important. DHA, omega-3, and so you find that in oily fish. Mackerel, grill it, some lemon.
Right.
Yeah?
We'll try.
Give it a go.
Nobody eats a perfect diet, and I think that's really important, but there are healthier options that make a big difference to a pregnancy. Paula is concerned about her weight and she wants to make a difference. if her diet improves, I would love to see those minor ailments such as heartburn, constipation, piles, her skin all improve as well.
If it works this time, we'll try it again next time we go shopping. Yeah, we'll keep to the healthy stuff. If we cut down the portions, hopefully that will easily last us a week.
Yeah, we'll give it a go.
Yeah. If you can live without your chocolate.
Oh yeah.
Most of the 100 couples in our experiment just wanted a positive pregnancy result. But Adele and Jim from Basingstoke had a whole other agenda.
We're at the moment trying for a baby girl, so leading up to when the ovulation predictor tests give me my LH surge, and we're having sex every day or every other day.
The couple already have a 3-year-old son, Morgan. Now they want a baby girl, they're trying various forms of gender selection.
I'm from a family of boys, so when we started to look into sex selection, it sort of raises your hopes a little bit that you can have a girl, and there are different options available that would hopefully influence that.
Adele is a project manager, and it's not just the workplace she likes to control. Trying for a girl is a huge operation.
If I'm going to do something, then I want to do it right, and I want to do it to 100% the best of my ability. And I'm not the sort of person that can just go, oh right, tomorrow I'm going to try for a baby. I enjoy the planning, so the planning stage is just as important to me as the actual falling pregnant and having the baby. I'd like a girl just to have that close relationship. I would like that bond later in life. Having a girl, I think they just give you, there's different aspects of your life. You cover them getting ready for their first night out, the first time they wear makeup, the first time you have to buy them a bra. There's all different things that come with having a girl that don't come with having a boy. And for my life, I would like the balance of having had both.
The couple's game plan mostly involves Jim's sperm.
Tight pants or boxer shorts throughout the whole period. Either hot baths or hot showers. The actual aim is to lower the sperm count. Apparently, the lower the sperm count, the more opportunity is that the girl's sperm will survive and the boys will die off.
There's absolutely no scientific evidence that boy sperm die off under those circumstances and girl sperm survive. I think it's a very dangerous strategy, and it may lead to them not conceiving at all.
Adele and Jim are also having baby sex 5 to 7 days before ovulation. The theory being that boy sperm will die off before they reach the egg, and the stronger girl sperm will survive long enough to achieve fertilisation. They may have read somewhere that this is a good idea, but there's absolutely no proof that it works.
Boy's sperm is meant to be able to last up until 3 days, and then female sperm is meant to be able to last up until 5 days. So hopefully the male sperm would have died off then, and then you're just left with the female sperm.
And it gets more bizarre. Too close to ovulation, and there's desperate measures to make sure the boy sperm don't make it to the egg.
It's quite comical. We're probably the only couple in Britain that are trying to have a baby, and yet we use condoms halfway through the month. So.
Adele's even changed her diet to include lots of dairy products to try and get that girl.
For me, what that means is that I will increase my amount of milk that I eat, cheese, eggs, that kind of thing, so sort of to add the calcium into the diet.
But no matter how hard she tries, there's one thing she can't stomach.
I can't stand eating the yoghurt. Yoghurt is fine for me, if you have it on the odd occasion. But if you have yoghurt 2 or 3 times a day, it just makes me want to gag. Just the thought when I'm sat down and I finish my evening meal, it's like, Jim, can you get me a yoghurt, please? It's just like, oh.
And husband Jim's not completely off the hook either, thanks to Adele's continued research.
The wife grabs and squeezes the left testicle to produce a boy. I don't think Jim would be too impressed with that somehow. If I end up with a healthy baby girl, then I've got the baby that I absolutely dream of. But at this planning stage, if I can influence in any way, then it would be nice to know that I've given it my best shot and I've tried.
At the start of our year, everyone underwent intense health checks, including a sperm test for our 100 men.
I want you to produce a sample of semen into one of these pots, and I want you to do that by a process called masturbation. I'm sure it will come as no difficulty to you at all. It's a wide-mouthed container. I'm sure some of you guys are going to be happy about that. There's lots to aim at.
In general, I don't masturbate anyway. Not a big wanker, if you like. I wish I had that amount of spare energy.
If it is low, I wouldn't expect it to be, but if it is, and maybe look at a change in diet.
I would be gutted if it were low. Absolutely gutted, yeah.
I just wouldn't feel like a red-blooded male, I suppose, you know what I mean?
For most guys, any threats to their manhood can be nerve-wracking. So when Paul and Juliet found out Paul's sperm count was very low, it was a big setback.
On the one hand, it's a bit of a blow to the ego, but in some ways it's relief because it means that we now know where there might be a problem with us, you know, with my wife trying to get pregnant.
Paul and Juliet have been together for over 10 years. They met at a fantasy role-play weekend. It was their biggest passion until their biological clock started ticking.
Naively, I kind of thought you'd just get pregnant like straight away. So I was thinking, oh yeah, we'll just, well, maybe 2 months, you know, really push it. So by the time you get to about 5, it was like, okay, then maybe something's not quite right, because you just expect it to happen.
Since the couple found out the news in our studio, Paul's been for further tests. And it's a lot worse than they first imagined.
Anything less than 2 to 5% is significant, in that you may require more assisted conception. And the number said here is 0%.
If a man has 0% morphology, it means he has no sperm with the correct size and shape. And that's really quite bad for conception naturally, because it means the sperm either won't be able to swim through the female reproductive tract to get to the egg, or when they get to the egg, it means they won't be able to fertilise it. Normally, we would expect men to have at least 14% of their sperm with normal size and shape.
After analysis, Paul's discovered it's all down to an incident that happened in his teens.
My father rushed me to hospital, and I think I was in the operating theatre within a couple of hours. And it turned out I had what's called torsion of the testes, which is where the tube inside your testicles gets wrapped up, which is why it's so painful, because it's equivalent of being permanently kicked in the bollocks, so to speak. And it turns out there is a possibility that maybe some scar tissues form because of that.
Now the couple is considering a fertility treatment called ICSI.
ICSI stands for Intracytoplasmic sperm injection, and that simply is where individual sperm are picked up by a very fine needle and are injected individually into individual eggs in order to achieve a fertilisation.
Today, Paul and Juliet have got their friends round. Paul's sperm tests are back and are better. His morphology, which is sperm shape and size, has improved.
Well, obviously, from my point of view, the appointment was really good because it means that I have some viable sperm, which therefore means that we can actually go with ICSI, which is really good news. And obviously, Jules had really good results as well. You know, she was green across the board because she was young and fertile, effectively.
I'm really excited about the fact that we maybe can have a baby. It's a new thing, it's really exciting. So even if it is like treatment, it's kind of exciting.
Not like your mother calling it a tech baby, is it?
Yeah, techie baby. We'll make us a
techie baby, because we're techie people.
Back in Basingstoke, Adele and Jim are desperately trying for a girl, but they're killing off lots of Jim's sperm in the process. So sperm specialist Dr. Alan Pacey has a plan to try and change the couple's tactics completely, before Jim's sperm is totally obliterated.
Hello!
Good
Nice to see you. So what are you doing to maximise the chances of conceiving a girl?
The things that we've read about is tighter the underwear, so it keeps sort of your sperm warmer, and that generally apparently tends to sort of kill them off. Hotter baths and those sort of things.
And then the male sperm would have died off, and then the female sperm are remaining for them to have a baby girl.
Well, my worry is, I guess, that by wearing too tighter pants, that you're actually reducing your sperm count to the point where you might not conceive.
Right.
Because the reason that your testicles are in your scrotum and are hanging outside your body is to keep them cool, and we generally expect that to be about 33, 34 degrees.
But just how much are Jim's nether regions overheating? Alan has a special experiment to find out.
I wonder if you'd do a little test for me. What I've brought is actually, this is a glorified thermometer.
Right.
With a temperature sensor right at the very end.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if you're willing to tape that to the side of your scrotum so we can actually make some temperature measurements of what's going on in your pants.
Give it a go.
There's the thermometer. There's some tape. Okay, Jim, let's take a look at your temperature. 35.1. So it should be about 33 degrees. It's just gone up to 35.2 as you sat down. 35.3, 35.4. So it's rising. It's risen by nearly half a degree just by going from standing to sitting.
I didn't realise it would actually go up by that much.
Just gone up again. It's now at 35.7. So it's nearly 3 degrees higher than it should be.
In sort of like, seems to be biological terms, that's quite excessive.
Yeah. One of the concerns we would have is that by increasing your scrotal temperature too much, is that it may introduce errors into the sperm production process. You may have as many sperm as you did before, it just may be that they're damaged and they're genetically damaged. And of course, really, that's not good if you're trying to conceive. If you start wearing boxer shorts tomorrow, or you even, dare I say it, start going commando in order to change this situation, then you need to be aware that it will take 3 months to reverse the situation, potentially. Yeah. I'm slightly concerned about whether some of the things that you're doing are the best if you're trying to conceive. And I think that's the message I would like to try and leave you with.
Okay.
Heating up your scrotum, I think, is bad. Sexual frequency and trying to predict when to have intercourse is potentially bad if you're too soon.
Mm-hmm. I don't think there's anything that we've read that we've been 100% behind it. We've just sort of taken the theory that if it works, then that's a bonus, but we can't ever look back and regret that we didn't try.
35.8, so you are Mr. Hot Scrotum.
Time to go and sit in the fridge, I think.
Well, I would say I think the priority is to try and conceive a healthy baby. So I would forget some of the things that they're trying and just get on with the process of trying to get pregnant.
I was just shocked at the amount of rise in temperature.
I think from my point of view, the game plan really is now to make the decision together that we drop the tight pants from now on.
In Newcastle-under-Lyme, Paul and Juliet are 3 weeks into the first stage of ICSI fertility treatment, and there's a lot for them to think about.
As soon as you decide to have a child and it doesn't happen, suddenly that's what it's all about now. Suddenly you're like somebody trying to have a child. You're not, and your whole life kind of feels like it's on hold until you get one. And yet before it wasn't a problem at all, but now it is.
Even though Paul's sperm is the issue, it's Juliet who undergoes the entire treatment of hormone injections.
So it sounds really harsh, but obviously the Paul has the problem, and yet I have to do all this and mess with my body and everything like that.
He tried to get involved when I was first doing it, and it just made me much more stressed, because he was like, well, can I do it for you or help? And I was like, no, I just really need my personal space to get to grips with it on my own accord.
I do feel bad there's nothing I can do, and I think although on the surface I can handle the stress better, I think that's only because I internalise it and like, you know, like a classic bloke, I hold it all in and you know, where she sort of blurts it all out.
If I do it slowly, it doesn't feel too bad.
For 3 weeks now, Juliet has had special nightly injections, preparing her ovaries for intense stimulation. These cause downregulation, which means shutting down her cycles, a bit like in the menopause. She'll then be given more hormone injections, which will make her produce lots of eggs in one cycle. The eggs are then collected and fertilised outside of Juliet's body by injecting individual sperm from Paul into each egg. The fertilised eggs are then put back into Juliet's womb in the hope that they'll implant.
If she has a baby out of this, then all of this is worth it. All of it's worth it. The money's worth it, the injections, the pain, the travel, the stress, it's all worth it. And if she doesn't, then it was all horrible. You know, it's as simple as that.
But however hard this process is, the couple know this could be their only hope. Next morning, Paul and Juliet are off to find out if they're ready for phase 2, fertility stimulation to create lots of eggs.
I'm feeling quite kind of excited, but just a bit apprehensive, I think.
Hopefully they'll just tell us she's finished downregulation and that we can start the next stage and get on and start producing some eggs.
This is the right ovary just here, and again I'm going to measure that so you can see exactly what the borders are. Potentially those follicles are going to grow with the drugs we're going to start today. So the right ovary looks nice and inactive, which is exactly what we wanted to see. So both ovaries are quiet, the endometrium's completely come away. That's all good.
That's good news then.
Very good news.
It's good, it's all good. That's the important thing, everything's the way it should be, and we're on to phase 2.
Meanwhile in Derby, Joanne's invited Anita, Kate and their partners over for one of their regular get-togethers. Before they arrive, Joanne's going to try her monthly pregnancy test.
I'm just going to go and pee on the stick. Keep fingers crossed.
can't believe it. It's come positive. What's the thing you want most?
A baby before sister.
What does that say?
Possible pregnant. You're pregnant.
Really?
Congratulations, Mummy.
Thank you, darling. Are you excited? Happy?
Yeah.
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 Joanne's husband Stuart is in for a big surprise.
I just don't think it will be expecting it to be a positive result, so yeah, pretty nervous.
Did that while you were gone?
That's like you know. Come on, give me a hug. Oh, Mummy's gonna have another baby.
I know.
Well over the moon. You never expect that. Not after we've been trying for 2 years plus. Can't believe it.
For Lindsay and Kevin in Sunderland, it's time for Lindsay's C-section. Now at 36 weeks, doctors think this is the best time for her twins' delivery.
Feels a little bit weird that it's kind of planned that in 2 hours' time we'll have 2 more little babies. Kind of a way, it's a scheduled.
Yeah, it's quite strange.
Celebrity style delivery. Lindsay Beckham.
I definitely don't feel like any kind of celebrity mother, and I'm positive that they have their tummy tucks and everything done at the same time as their cesarean, so I'll be asking Mr. Hinshaw to do mine as well.
Yeah.
Lindsay's pregnancy has been closely monitored, as the babies are high-risk, identical twins sharing the same placenta. Because of this, one twin has grown much less than the other, developing cysts on her kidneys.
That's definitely 2 different heartbeats. Happy with that? Yeah.
Doctors won't know the extent of the problems with the smaller baby until she's delivered.
I have to say I do feel quite nervous. It is very clinical. Obviously all the needles and injections and stuff like that. I'm not looking forward to that bit. But I also think it's quite surreal that in less than an hour's time there's going to be 2 new people in the world. I can't wait to just get them out and give them you to carry out. Stop telling me to hurry up, come on. I'll be like, do you know how heavy these are?
Before surgery begins, Lindsay needs a spinal anaesthetic, which can be uncomfortable.
It's a bit sore.
Yeah, it's really hips.
Arch your back out, you know, like an angry cat. Arches.
This localised anaesthetic means Lindsay can be awake throughout the delivery. Half an hour later, and it's time to deliver the twins.
Are you alright there?
That was like 2 or 3 minutes maybe to get into the baby. Little wood space too.
That was like mine.
It's a tense time because of the risks to the smaller twin throughout this pregnancy.
This one's coming out bottom third. Whoa! There you are. We'll get her wrapped up for you, okay?
She's not blonde like Lindsay, is she? There you are, listen.
The first delivery is the bigger twin called Sophie. Now the pressure's on to safely deliver the baby most at risk, Megan.
What's it? Lift the abdominal.
Alright.
Here we go, head first one, this is the little one.
She's a bit small, are you ready? Oh, she's coming.
Where's she coming?
She's a bit skinny, isn't she?
Lovely. Look at her.
Oh,
Look in the light,
she's
the look is lovely.
lovely.
But the look the same.
You do?
So we'll get her wrapped up, that's great. There we go. You can have those to cuddle in a minute.
That's weird. Come with Sophie. Hello, this is Sophie.
weighs £5, 12.5 ounces.
It's crucial that little Megan weighs more than 4 pounds, or she could need immediate special care.
£4, 2 ounces.
After almost a year of trying for a baby girl, Adele is now 5 months pregnant. Today she's going for her 20-week scan. As well as checking the health of their baby, they'll be able to find out if their gender selection techniques have paid off.
Even though I sort of felt very slightly different in the beginning, my head and my heart are telling me now that it's a baby boy, and I'd be just so shocked if it's a girl. I'm totally convinced it's a boy. And my bump, I think my bump's more out front, the more rounded, so another reason why I think I'm having a baby boy. But a friend said to me the other day that girls move sooner than boys, and this baby I felt move at a really, really early stage. I just don't know really on all of the old wives' tales, to be perfectly honest with you, but my head and my heart tell me it's a baby boy.
The growth measurements that I took are all fitting in with your dates, averaging at 20 weeks and 5 days.
Okay.
So as far as I can see from the scan today, everything looks normal. I can't see any abnormalities. Growth is normal. Your placenta's in a very good position at the back, nice and high.
That's good.
I have been able to see the gender.
Okay.
I'm about 90% sure.
About 90%?
Yep. I will be writing it down on a piece of, on the envelope that you've provided.
I haven't looked at all. Have you looked?
I've been trying to, but it's an art form, isn't it? Looking at these scans.
I'm just so relieved the baby at this stage, sort of everything's going well and everything looks good. But in my hearts of hearts, I still think it's a little boy. So I haven't been trying to look at all. I don't think I would. Knowing me, I'd guess it was the umbilical cord and that. So I'm adamant that I've got another little boy. So what do you think? Come on. Pick one way or the other. You think it is?
I'd say it's a girl then, because you think it's a boy.
Just to play devil's advocate, right? Okay. Do you want to know?
I think we got this far now and got it written down. I would like to know.
You would? Yeah. I still don't know that I want to know. I'm just so relieved it's healthy. It just doesn't really matter, does it?
No.
Ray of sunshine, you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Open it now, quick. Go on.
Are you opening it or am I opening it?
No, you put it out.
I don't know that I want to do this. Ready? On 3. 1,
2, 3.
It's a boy. I was right. Love you.
Let's think of some boys' names now.
I thought it would be.
Tried for a girl, and we've got a healthy boy by the sound of it, so I'm going to look forward to the birth. It's quite exciting.
Yeah, let's go quickly.
On my way to my 6-a-side football team.
Back in Derby, Joanne and Stuart's party is in full swing, and no one's caught on to their big surprise. So Joseph is going to break the good news.
Now, Mummy and Daddy found a positive pregnancy test.
Yes. Good luck.
Oh no, not good luck. We've got one.
Really?
You little Steve! You didn't say anything! No.
It's great knowing that Jo's pregnant, so that means all 3 of us are all pregnant together, and we're all very close, in terms of when we're all due. So that would be fantastic.
Oh, when are you due? January. Oh, congratulations! Well done.
Thanking you.
You said it was your lucky one.
In Sunderland, Mum Lindsay is enjoying her first cuddle with twins Sophie and Megan.
Can you see them there? Oh, they're lovely. They've got really long eyelashes, look.
Two fantastic babies, obviously identical, not identical in size, but they look very similar. Exactly what the couple planned.
We're over the moon. I was a bit worried for Lindsay at first. I'm dead proud of her, she did really well.
Really relieved, especially seeing as the little one's not as little as what we actually thought. So I think everybody's going to be surprised at how much hair they've got and how dark it is. I just hope Kevin doesn't start asking us any questions.
The weights weren't far out of the scan, were they?
That's brilliant, isn't it?
Next time on Make Me a Baby, Paul and Juliet continue with their fertility treatment.
I've got 11 little embryos. I can have 11 babies if I want that.
There's bad news for Sam and Chris.
Changes quite a lot, really. Quite a lot of everything.
And as they reach the end of the third trimester, it's delivery time for some of our couples.
Well, hopefully in 3 weeks' time we'll have a bundle of joy to look forward to. Sleepless nights, dirty nappies and screaming. What joy!